Hi, good afternoon. Just a quick message about Born to Finisher's race later on today. Just had a good chat with Ed, and he says Born to Finish is absolutely gleaming. His coat looks absolutely superb. He's in great condition, and he says he was almost fighting to get under the truck. Couldn't wait to get there and get started. He is in really, really good form. First time over a mile. I know the racer post refers to a race in the 2016 when we tried him over a mile. That is not even 5% of the story of that race. First and foremost, that race was purely the only one that was really available then, and we knew that a mile was probably going to stretch him. He hadn't even been trained for a mile. The way Jeremy used to train, he trained sprinters and 7 furlong mile horses very differently. Born to Finish had been trained purely for speed, so that mile race that day was always going to be hard work. Plus he was drawn 12 at 12 at Kempton, and he was stuck wide all the way around. So, and that was before the wind up. So there's a number of reasons why that run needs to just be completely ignored and cannot be used at all as any kind of benchmark as to what his chances are today. I think what's more important is to look at the fact of his breeding, and he's definitely bred for this sort of trip. The family that he's from is very much related to horses that have ran in the likes of the Derby. So a male even is probably the theoretically anyway, a male should be the beginning of the start of him going over trips, not 6 furlongs as he has been running over and running very well and winning a number of races. He stays on well over 7, so there's every hope that he will stay the mile. The way that the races are ran at Chelmsford over a mile, typically anyway, when they come out the chute, he's going to have David Roberts going to have plenty of time to get him into a good position. Ed's quite a level-headed guy, but for the first time since we've had Born to Finish with him, he's been talking about being excited about seeing this race tonight. He knows Born to Finish is very fit and well. He knows that he's in form after he's run 9 days ago. And if the mile does suit, I think he's going to be quite difficult to beat, especially at the best of his form. I know there's horses in there that have been back today, and there's horses in there that have got a good bit of form in the book, with the exception of the Haggis horse, which is bred to be a hell of a lot better. I think that there's horses in this race that when we look back at this in 3 months, 6 months time, whatever, we'll be looking and wondering why we weren't favourite for the race. Now, we're there to be shot down, we're there to be proven wrong, and there's an awful lot can go wrong. You know, he may well not stay the trip, he may well pull too hard when they're going a bit slower, he may well get stuck in a bad position in traffic. There's all sorts of things that could potentially go wrong, so please do not be remortgaging houses and banging it on there, because I think he's going to run very, very well. Looking through the field very quickly, Punjab Mail has had a lot of money for it overnight. Tongue-tied for the first time. It's first run for Tim Fitzgerald, who's stabled running very, very well. At the best of its form, it would definitely be in with a shout. But I do think that the best of our form and the best of that horse's form we are the better horse. I think there is the factor that's only a 3-year-old. And it is its first run for new stable, so I suppose there is reasons why it could be backed, and I can understand why. But 3-1, far too short for me. Second favourite currently is Clips and Tiger, Mick Appleby's horse. Won 3 on the bounce from very low ratings. It's now up to a mark of 68. It ran poorly last time, but that was at Southwell. There's a lot of horses just don't act at Southwell. It's back over a course and distance it's ran before. But again, I think looking at the ratings and the speed of the races it's won, it's not a horse that we need to be massively concerned about. Harbour Vision's a horse with a lot of good back form. That horse again, another one that's been backed in. The betting's all over the shop. William Hill opening the book so early is just crazy, because the betting is totally flip-flopping all day. But Harbour Vision's a horse that I suppose that's its best. It's run at better, higher levels than this. Again, it's a course and distance winner. But I think it's a horse that pretty much we know where we're at with that. There is we do have one of the owners who seems to have the opinion that Harbour Vision could have been laid out for today, and I can exactly see what the rationale is behind that, and it has been dropped into this level. So it's a horse that's definitely worth keeping an eye on, but it's not a horse that I would be wanting to back in this race. Swansdown, as I said, bred ex-Luca Kamani horse, still owned by Luca's stud. Now in with William Haggis, you know, very, very good, very well bred horse with a very, very good trainer. It's won over the distance. It was beaten favourite last time out in a slightly better race than this as a 3-year-old, but I just get the feeling that this horse is a little bit tricky. Can't quite put my finger on it, but it's just not a horse that I can imagine. You know, looking at everything that's there, this is a horse I would have thought would have been about 5-2, 11-4, 3-1 favourite, and it's sitting out there at about 8-1. So, you know, something's not adding up with that horse, but again, something worth keeping an eye on. Our old friend Dougie Costello rides Roller for David Loughnane. That horse was originally put in as favourite yesterday. It went right out. It's coming back in a little bit. I spoke to Dougie yesterday, and he understandably wasn't saying an awful lot, except it was a very tight race. That horse seemed to win quite well last time out, but it is up in the weights, and again, a horse that we kind of know where we are with. The rest of the field are all pretty much of a muchness. You know, Coral Music won last time out. Franny Norton's a good jockey. You know, he's up there. You've got Adam Kirby riding one for Clive Cox, which has got some good back form. You know, Ed Dunlop's got a horse in the race. David Evans' horses are always worth a second look. So it's definitely a competitive heat. But I think the thing that we need to come back to, you know, the same as last time out when Born to Finish on a good second at a decent price. And even when he won the race, you know, 3 runs ago, Born to Finish has ran off much better marks, much higher marks than this. He's ran well. We know he's fitting well. If the mile improves him, or he handles the mile as well as we think he is, he's got to have a massive chance. Yeah, I don't want to see it too much more, because it's going to sound like I'm really trying to persuade people to back it, but you know, there are plenty threats. You know, there's a number of 3-year-olds in the race. Punjab Mail, Swansdown, Toro Dorado. Any of these horses could well be better than what they've shown so far, and we could be up against it. Harbour Vision or Grey Galleon could come back to form and prove difficult to beat. It's definitely not a race that you'd be wanting to put a lot of money on, but I'd be very disappointed if Born to Finish didn't run very, very well. Good luck to those of you who's going along, and good luck to those of you watching at home. It's always worth keeping an eye on the WhatsApp group and seeing the information as it goes through, and hopefully we'll have some pictures from the track sent through. Our newly appointed photographer Liam will be there tonight, so I'm sure he'll be snapping away and taking the odd little video. But if anybody's got any questions or anything else they'd like to know, by all means give me a shout, let me know, and hopefully we'll have some good news shortly after 5 o'clock. Thank you, bye.